right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Tonight, towns are still assessing the damage after the weekend storms.
Until we get some of the debris out of the way so we can actually see the buildings to see what it is.
The chances of severe weather this week are lower overall, when some of us, though, still have a shot at seeing a strong storm.
But first tonight, thousands of power outages.
It's been difficult. I've been trying to cope, just staying inside, finding different things to do, been charging my phone from my car.
The race to restore electricity as some people face a fourth day in the dark. More on that in a moment, but first we're following breaking news. Right now there is a large emergency response in a St. Anne neighborhood. Let's take a live picture from the scene. This is on Jane Avenue. It's off St. Charles Rock Road near ABC Ballpark. You can see several police vehicles. We're still working to get details on what happened, but we do know St. Charles Rock Road was shut down so an ambulance could transport a child to the hospital. This is all developing within the last 90 minutes or so, and we're going to continue to follow it. Our crew is there. We'll bring you updates as soon as we can. And back to our top story. Tonight, thousands of people on both sides of the river are still without power in this heat. Good evening. I'm Ann Allred. Mike Bush has the night off. Ameren has 1,000 workers on the ground with hopes of fully restoring service to everyone by Wednesday night. Our Robert Townsend's here now with the lingering impact residents in St. Louis City are dealing with one day before the 4th of July.
And the storms are definitely long gone, but the weather-related pre-holiday headaches are mounting for many. One North City guy is tired of his life being in limbo. Darius Rucker usually works from home.
I got an iPad charger, which doesn't charge as well.
But for the past few days,
It's hotter inside than outside.
the hot nonprofit consultant has worked
I was literally trying to charge my laptop
from his car.
from the car charger. I'm spending more time outside in my car. Obviously, I have AC, but that means I got to keep putting gas in the car. I'm sitting in the car, so it's been ugly.
That's because Saturday afternoon, a strong storm blew through his North St. Louis neighborhood and uprooted this huge tree that's down the street in a vacant yard near Lexington and Warney Avenues. The tree fell on a power line and left Rucker up.
Good girl.
His dog and dozens of their neighbors in the dark,
Sleeping in my guest room instead of my normal room.
with his windows slightly raised.
All the windows are up for the most part. Can't even do that on the middle floor because the alarm system can't be set. My basement's cool in the daytime, so hanging out in my basement, it's a lot.
The relentless rainstorm also ripped off parts of his backyard wooden fence.
Twice when the storm hit, power went out, came back on. I got AC in here, so it's a little cooler than in the house.
It's now 3 days and counting, and his power is still off. 1,000 Ameren workers remain on the move.
It's been a challenge for us. Our vegetation crews have been working really diligently to get through all the brush and down trees.
It feels like summer.
Sure, it's summertime in St. Louis, but the 4th of July is just hours away, and Rucker just wants his life back.
Feels like summer. It's been pretty annoying. I'm hoping they can move faster.
Now, about 45 minutes ago, a relieved Rucker texted me and said his power finally came back on. Now, on Saturday, more than 12,000 Ameren, Missouri customers in St. Louis City lost electricity as a result of that storm. Now, we just checked with the utility company, and it says right now that number has dropped to about 7,400.
Robert, thank you. A clear and quiet night across St. Louis. Things are going to heat up for the 4th of July. Some could see some fireworks from Mother Nature. Weather First Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is tracking chances of isolated storms. Scott.
They're around, especially south of St. Louis tonight. Tomorrow, during the heat of the afternoon, it's certainly possible we could see something pop up, but we're not anticipating severe weather tomorrow. We're going to be limited on our storm chances for tomorrow. It is warm and muggy overnight. Most of the showers that are scattered around are well to our south tonight. Hot, humid conditions for your 4th of July. A spot storm as we head into the afternoon hours tomorrow. A better chance for some stronger storms on Wednesday. Right now, the radar sweep showing those scattered showers. They've percolated this evening all the way from about Centerville to Annapolis up towards the Farmington area. We expect to see that activity essentially just kind of drift overnight off to the east and southeast, staying mainly south of St. Louis. Not going to be surprised to see an isolated shower around here, but it looks like as we head into tomorrow afternoon, we should bubble up a few showers and thunderstorms. The chances, though, of severe weather tomorrow, very limited. It's on Wednesday that severe weather threat expands a bit across across the bi-state area. We're catching you up on that forecast and why it's a weather alert day in just a little bit.
We now know the name of a woman killed in the Grove during Saturday's storms. Catherine Cohen died in this car when a tree fell on it. She was 33 years old. A nearby business owner says one of her employees tried to help the woman, but calls to 911 went unanswered for about 30 minutes. And we're learning more tonight about a 5-year-old boy who was killed when a tree fell into his home in Jennings. RJ Lawrence had just graduated from kindergarten this spring at Fairview Elementary in the Jennings School District. State Representative Yolanda Fountain Henderson says his mother tried to save him.
She tried to save him. She tried to take the debris off of him. She even gave him some breaths. She told her son, "I'm not leaving you. I'm not leaving you."
RJ was just weeks away from celebrating his 6th birthday. His family is now trying to raise money for his funeral. You can donate by going to the As Seen on TV section at KSDK.com. Tonight, Washington County, Illinois is slowly getting the power back on, but the cleanup from the damage, it is far from over. 5 on your side's Laura Barczewski takes us through several towns as they work to pick up the pieces.
This is the sound of cleanup in Washington County. Fans are working overtime, and so is Kurt Kessel, whose Nashville hardware store was ripped open by the storm.
Somebody was at the State Theater, called us and said that our roof had blown off and into the street.
He rushed over to the store, only to find the storm had made its way inside. Products were damaged and the store needs a new roof, but that didn't stop this 33-year-old business from staying open, helping others.
One of the ambulance guys came over and said, the Friendship Manor nursing home needed fans, otherwise they're going to have to evacuate all the residents there. So we loaded up whatever fans that we had put together and extension cords and took it to them.
The damage extends far beyond the store into Washington County, but it's been hard for county emergency management to see it all.
We can't do any damage assessment and bring any teams in until we get some of the debris out of the way so we can actually see the buildings to see what it is.
Vendidae trees were snapped and tossed onto buildings, and in a small town a mile away, the center of Johannesburg was torn to shreds. This 186-year-old church took most of the beating. The storm ripped off the steeple and brought it right back down onto the church, destroying most of the roof.
Pretty devastating damage to the exterior. Thankfully, the interior seems to have survived. We were able to rescue all of the unreplaceable items.
The parishioners of St. John's United Church of Christ are hoping all they need is a new roof. Jason Dulling says his family is deeply rooted in this sacred space still standing.
Can trace the entire lineage back to 1837, original members. I have so many memories, grandparents, parents, events, family, friends, all tied back to this church. So it's like a part of the family in and of itself.
Reporting in Washington County, Illinois, Laura Barczewski, 5 on your side.
If you would like to donate to the church restoration, we have a link on KSDK.com. If you live in Washington County and need help with debris removal, you can call the Emergency Management Agency. The number is 618-327-4800. The extension is 340. They hope to have power restored there by tomorrow night. Tonight, a Florissant man is behind bars in connection to a mass shooting inside a nightclub in Wichita, Kansas. Brandon Young is charged with 2 counts of aggravated battery. 9 people were shot, 2 were trampled in the chaos after gunfire rang out early Sunday morning. All are expected to survive. Police are still working to determine how many shooters were involved. Tonight, police are looking for 2 teens who escaped from this facility, the Hogan Street Youth Center in St. Louis. Happened around midnight. A source tells 5 on your side the teens locked a youth leader in a bathroom, and then the 16 and 17-year-old broke out the window and lowered themselves to the ground with several blankets they tied together. Tonight, Valley Park City Hall is closed, and there are no city services being offered to residents after the Board of Aldermen failed to pass a budget. Valley Park has nearly 7,000 residents. It's located off I-44 and 141 along the Merrimack River in southwest St. Louis County. Mayor Chandra Webster posted on the city's website, quote, "The city needs 5 votes to pass any ordinance, including the budget. The mayor cannot break a tie unless there is a tie. Therefore, until your alderman shows up for the meetings and actually vote yes or no, we are stuck without a budget." There is a special meeting scheduled for tomorrow to try and pass a budget. There's been a lot of talk about last week's Supreme Court rulings on hot-button issues like affirmative action, student loans, and gay rights. But tonight, our Verify team is looking into claims about another decision. Some people say it means stalking is protected under the First Amendment. Ariande Till digs into that ruling.
From 2014 to 2016, Billy Counterman sent hundreds of Facebook messages to a local Colorado musician. Messages that the musician said made her fear for her safety. In 2017, Counterman was found guilty on charges of stalking and harassment and sentenced to more than 4 years in prison. Counterman appealed the verdict, saying his First Amendment right to free speech was violated because he didn't know that the messages were threatening. In June, the Supreme Court agreed and reversed Counterman's conviction. The ruling immediately prompted people on social media to ask if the court's ruling means stalking is now protected under the First Amendment. So let's verify. Our sources are the Supreme Court ruling on Counterman v. Colorado, the Free Speech Center at Middle Tennessee State University, and Clay Calvert, Professor Emeritus of Law at the University of Florida. The First Amendment protects an individual's right to free speech, but it doesn't protect something called a true threat, and that is exactly what this Supreme Court case focuses on. According to the Free Speech Center, a true threat is a statement that is meant to frighten or intimidate someone into believing that they will be seriously harmed. Counterman argued that he didn't know what he was saying was threatening, so it shouldn't be considered a true threat. Instead, it should be considered protected speech, and the court agreed. Under the Supreme Court's new ruling, a prosecutor has to prove to a jury that at least one of the following is true about the person accused of stalking or harassing somebody and the messages they sent. The person intended to make the threat, the person knew the statements could be perceived as threatening, or the statement could be perceived as threatening by a reasonable person. According to University of Florida law professor Clay Calvert, while this ruling doesn't stop prosecutions of stalking cases, it could cause a domino effect because any defendant in a case involving harmful or threatening speech could claim they didn't know their statements were threatening or being perceived as threatening. So we can verify, no. The Supreme Court did not rule stalking is protected under the First Amendment. With your Verify, I'm Ariande Till.
What would you like for us to verify? Send an email. The email address is verify@kstk.com. Thrills turn to chills after someone spotted a roller coaster flaw.
I said, y'all need to shut this ride down.
Tonight, hear from the man who sounded the alarm. Your summer cookout is costing you more, but you don't have to burn through thousands of dollars to fire up a new grill. Tonight, we put affordable options to the test.
Firing up the grill for the 4th? Well, some of us will catch a brief shower or storm. The timing on the best rain chances Tuesday, plus the storm chances Wednesday that make it a weather first weather alert day.
Tonight, crews are inspecting a roller coaster at a North Carolina amusement park after a visitor captured an alarming video. He was shocked when he noticed a giant crack. Look at that. That's in the support beam. This is the Fury 325 coaster. You can kind of see it move when that car full of thrill seekers just rounds that curve. Jeremy Wagner recorded this video from the parking lot and quickly alerted security. His family had just ridden the coaster.
I was like, that's not supposed to do that. It's not attached. And their jaws dropped. My daughter and my niece were like, we just rode that. That was the last thing we rode.
The ride is shut down indefinitely. A spokesperson for the Carowinds Amusement Park says all rides undergo daily inspections to ensure proper functioning and structural integrity. Tomorrow is the 4th of July. Many will celebrate by firing up the grill. According to the National Retail Federation, 65% of Americans take part in a picnic or a cookout. More than $9.5 billion will be spent on food alone. The price of beef is up, but chicken will cost you less. Hamburger and hot dog buns are up 17%. If your grill has flame broiled its last burger, don't sweat it. Consumer Reports' tough tests reveal great grills for under $300. Here's Mike Bush.
You can easily spend thousands on a new grill, but Consumer Reports' Paul Hope says you don't need to.
You really don't need to spend a lot of money on a fancy grill. It's not going to make your food taste any better. For that, you really just want to practice, practice, practice.
CR has a specially designed lab just to test grills. The good news? You can get a good grill for under $300. Want a grill that heats up fast and evenly cooks food? This even embers model is a great option if you tend to cook a lot of the same foods at the same time. If you want to cook up a variety of foods at the same time, you want a grill that offers a decent temperature range. CR tests for that too.
Temperature range is important because a grill that can cook at a broad range of temperatures can cook way more food, and it can do it easier. So you can sear a steak on one side of the grill and slow cook a piece of chicken without burning the skin on the other.
This Revo Ace from Walmart delivers. It's also sturdy and well made. If you prefer charcoal grilling, this Weber Kettle Grill consistently earns very good scores for evenness. Ready to take your grilling beyond the grates? CR also checked out several flat-top grills.
A flat-top grill fills in the gaps left behind by a regular grill. So instead of having grates, it's got a smooth surface a lot like a griddle, which makes it ideal for anything you'd order from a diner. Things like pancakes, bacon, eggs, grilled cheese are all great on a flat top.
This Loco earned top scores. It has special burners that cycle on and off to maintain temperature across a very large cooking surface. Paul still managed to cook for a crowd on this budget-friendly flat top from Blackstone, which starts at about $260. Mike Bush, 5 on your side.
Right now in St. Charles County, fireworks are wrapping up day 3 of the O'Fallon Heritage and Freedom Fest. Thousands packed the fairgrounds today at the Ozzie Smith Sports Complex for food, drinks, carnival rides, and live entertainment. A parade will be held tomorrow morning at 9:30 down Main Street. That festival opens at noon tomorrow, and the day ends with fireworks at 9:30. America's Birthday Parade will be held in downtown St. Louis tomorrow. There will be dozens of floats, bands, dancers, and live performers. It steps off at 10 a.m. at Broadway and Market. The parade then marches down Market to Union Station. A live look at the Gateway Arch, all quiet. Nice to have it nice and quiet. In 24 hours, it's going to serve up as the backdrop for the Fair St. Louis Fireworks Spectacular. They'll be set off from the barges on the Mississippi River beginning around 9:15. You are invited to bring lawn chairs, blankets, snacks, drinks. They ask, please do not bring glass or alcohol. If you can't make it downtown, we will live stream the Fireworks Spectacular on our streaming app, 5+. It is free to download on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. You can also watch on KSTK.com and our YouTube page. There are several other patriotic displays planned on both sides of the river. We've got a full guide. Just text the word fireworks to 314-425-5355, and we'll send you the full list to your phone. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell joining us now with the Weather First forecast. Of course, you were tracking the possibility of some isolated storms, but everybody wants to know about 9:20 and 9:30 tomorrow night, right?
Yeah, I think most of us are going to be okay. You know, tomorrow evening after we lose the heat of the day, we tend to see our chances for any rain go down. Look at your full moon tonight. Isn't that pretty? Looking from the Bear Tree here back towards downtown St. Louis. That full moon is out there, and near Belleville, John shared this with us, and isn't this an artsy shot with the full moon from late last night as it was approaching its completely full stage from early this morning with the pine trees in front of it. One thing we did have over the last 3 days, in addition to all the rough weather, was some badly needed rain. Of course, some of it came a little too fast and furious at times, but Highland, Illinois, over 3 inches, Carlisle Lake, as well as Cottleville, over 2.5 inches, and almost 2 inches at Lambert and in Chesterfield. So we picked up some badly needed rain for sure. There's still some out there tonight. A few isolated showers here down towards Knob Lick, heading back towards Annapolis. This is in southeast portions of Missouri right now. That is all going to just kind of percolate and just meander across southeast Missouri for the next 3 or 4 hours. Shouldn't be any big problem. No precipitation today in St. Louis. The high was 81, or the current temperature is 81. The high was 91 after a morning low of 69 degrees. So tomorrow morning should be a little bit warmer. Most of us in the 60s. In town, though, starting in the low 70s. Any rain this evening and overnight spotty. Tomorrow, pretty much the same. It's this disturbance that's back to our west that'll really focus most of the activity down to our south. Then we'll watch as some more energy swings in out of Canada, across the northern Rockies, and as we head towards Wednesday, give us a chance for some potentially strong thunderstorms, at least a few. Now, the chance for showers and thunderstorms, it's really after lunchtime for most of us tomorrow until about 6 o'clock. And then after 7 o'clock, as the sun starts to get low in the sky, we'll see anything kind of fade away. This is what we're looking at tomorrow afternoon. Again, is really just random and pop up and not all that heavy. We go into Wednesday, should start fairly quiet in the morning, warm again, back into the lower 90s, maybe some mid 90s. And here you go Wednesday afternoon. We're popping up and bubbling up a little more coverage here in terms of thunderstorms. Some of them potentially having some strong winds. So there is a severe weather threat on Wednesday. That area includes all of the 5 on your side area, a good chunk of Missouri and Illinois here. And the main threat out of these storms on Wednesday would be downpours and some strong winds. There might be some hail in there as well, but that's why Wednesday is a weather alert day. Tomorrow, for your 4th of July, Mother Nature may give a few of us some fireworks, but for most of us, we got a lot of dry time on the way. Hot tomorrow, hot on Wednesday, a little cooler by Thursday and Friday.
Scott, thank you. Let's get to Frank. What's coming up?
And a former Cardinal has become one of the great managers in baseball. We will explain. And we will also make a case for Keith Tkachuk and the Hockey Hall of Fame.
The Sports Desk is sponsored by Jim Butler Chevrolet, the Midwest's #1 Chevy dealer 10 years running.
The guy behind me is going to be the manager of the year, the former Cardinal Skip Schumacher. The Marlins lost 93 games last season. Only 3 teams were worse in the league. This season, with Skip, only 2 teams were better, and he nailed it tonight against the Cardinals. Wilson Contreras had a big night with 3 hits, including this homer, and it's 2-2 in the 3rd. Paul DeJong had 2 hits, including this RBI double in the 6th, which scored Contreras. It's 3-2 Cardinals. Then in the 7th, the Cardinals went to the right-hander, Andre Pallante. Skip knows right-handed hitters hit him better than lefties. So Yuli Gurriel pinch hits for the lefty and delivers a double, which scored 2. And later, Nick Fortes delivered the eventual game-winning hit. Marlins win 5-4. They're a staggering 20-5 in one-run games, and the Cardinals are an abysmal 8-17 in one-run games. Brewers trailed the Cubs 6-0 at one point, but in the 8th, they completed the comeback. Willy Adames delivered with an RBI single from Milwaukee. And then the pride of Hazelwood West, Devin Williams, continued his magical season with a game-ending K. Devin has 18 saves and a 1.47 ERA. That's why he's going to the All-Star game. This week at Centene, Blues fans have gotten a glimpse of the future. It's the development camp. We're talking 34 players from 8 different countries trying to impress the brass. Some players you may actually see next season wearing the Blue Note. Others won't be here for a few years. The boys have been skating for the last 3 days, and they have one more day before they wrap it up. The great Keith Tkachuk is one of the people doing the evaluating for the front office. And besides being the father of 2 of the best players in the league, he had a heck of a career himself. Pierre Turgeon just made it to the Hall of Fame, and Walt has more goals and more All-Star games. In fact, his 538 goals are the most by any Hall of Fame eligible player not in the Hall. I asked him if he thinks about it.
I think about it because my mom always texts me. I think she wants it so bad, but you know, Pierre's a great player. I'm so happy for him. I'm always happy when St. Louis Blues guys get in, but if it happens, great. If it doesn't, there's nothing I can do about it. I've been retired for a bunch of years now, and the game has been great to me, and you know, I'm just loving watching all my kids, whether it's Matthew and Brady or other kids I coach and my daughter who plays a different sport, so I'm happy where I am.
Last night on Sports Plus, we profiled the legendary career of Kevin Lish. The Billiken Hall of Famer was also one of the best players in the Australian League for over a decade. He has just returned home to live in St. Louis and to work for Scott Highmark's company, Mosaic Family Wealth. I've always loved the story of how he became a 2,000-point scorer in high school and a 1,600-point scorer in college. And the answer was his father, Rusty, used to take the kids to the gym every night and work out with them. This is actual video of it. Some kids don't want to be coached by their fathers. Kevin thrived on it.
My dad put us through probably the most grueling, workouts
physically and mentally, but I enjoyed it every step of the way as well. There were blood, sweat, and tears, but we stayed close as a family. We helped each other out, and I was pretty blessed to grow up in the household I did.
It is a great family, and that will do it in sports.
Thank you, Frank. Going for a gut-busting record, the dozens of dogs two champs hope to down, plus America's fondness for Franks. The Cardinals and Budweiser are celebrating the 4th with a special ticket sale. Fans can purchase $4.44 tickets for select games. The sale begins Wednesday at 10 a.m. on the Cardinals website. Today, competitors weighed in for tomorrow's Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Contest on Coney Island. 15-time champ Joey Chestnut hopes to break his record of 76 hot dogs and buns in 10 minutes. And the defending women's champion, Mickey Sudo, right here, hopes to break her record of 48.5 dogs. Americans will eat more than 150 million hot dogs tomorrow. The 4th of July is the single largest day of the year for hot dog consumption, and more than 7 billion franks are eaten between Memorial Day and Labor Day. That is 818 consumed every second in the summer. That is all of our time for 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.